Hey guys, it's Monday, July 25th, 2022. It's the Waco Kid here in wonderful, cold Waco, Texas. Very, very cold here this summer. Very cold. Something's going on with this weather. Just we got the Arctic cold front snapping through Waco, Texas this summer. So I wanted to give you an update because I haven't been posting as much as normal. Well, there's a lot of topics I could post about, from lovable, laughable Devin Larratt to some others, but I haven't had time for a couple of reasons, and so that's the nature and the reason for this update to let you know I'm still around. But the month of August up until Labor Day is a month where I can usually triple or quadruple my income. It's the only month out of the year for what I do where I can really triple or quadruple my income. Now, there's one other month, and that's like right after Thanksgiving, back to school, and the holidays, kind of that 3 week stretch in there. That's a good one too, but not as good as now. So I have to really devote and prioritize my time for actually what I'm good at and what my business is, which is not really arm wrestling, folks. You probably already picked up on that. So you're not going to hear a lot from me probably over the next month. As August approaches, I'm going to be very busy, pardon me, with my business. So rest assured, I'm still here. The other thing is, I got off track the first couple of weeks of July here. There was a stray pit bull that kept coming around my yard, maybe the first week of June. And the pit bull was a young guy, probably less than 2 years old, pretty intimidating looking. But it was so hot that I started making sure water was out for him and setting food out for him. Animal control actually told me to do that because maybe if I could befriend him to a certain degree, we can get him lured to the backyard and then they can come get him and put him in a more secure, protective area. I mean, that's a lot better than him roaming around the streets and possibly getting run over or starving to death or dying of heat stroke. I mean, not to mention other possibilities like bad humans, trying to do something to him. So I'm telling you this because this ended up taking a lot of my time away from arm wrestling, and then it got physical. So I befriended this stray pit bull who I ended up naming Luke, and it got to the point where he would come up to me before I would give him some food. He would run away, like run halfway down the street. He was so scared. It got to the point he would come up and hang around me while he ate some food I put out in my front yard. Then it got to the point where he would actually come take some treats out of my hand. And at that point, on the night of July 4th, fireworks, Independence Day, although we didn't have anything really going to Waco because there was a burn ban, but I was able to lure him to my backyard where you've seen me make some of the videos and shut the gate. I don't want to go into everything, but I really try to do the best for this animal. I mean, I'm an animal person. I wanted to take this animal who obviously was alone, in despair. Somebody had him because he just dropped out of nowhere in our neighborhood. So either somebody dropped him in the neighborhood or he got out of somebody's place, but they weren't looking too hard for him. I wanted to make a difference in his life, really tilt the odds in his favor. And I've never had any experience with aggressive dogs, Rottweilers, German Shepherd mixes. What's that other dog? Cane, something or other. Bulldogs, all these dogs that are fighting breeds and aggressive Dobermans. So I don't have a lot of experience with those kind of dogs. Most of the dogs I've had have been the kind of docile, lovable lap dogs. Even had a yellow golden lab mix before. I named her Ellie a long time ago. So anyway, I tried to befriend this dog, and I could spend an hour telling you about it, but I washed him up. He became better and more close to me. But then he had tried to attack my wife. I mean, this dog, I've never seen anything like it. It was a thunderous, it was just thunder and rage when he tried to get her, and there was no warning sign. So I know before, when I've been around dogs who are aggressive, you'd see their teeth, and then you'd hear them growl, or you see them stare at you, stare you down, or you see a couple of false starts where they lunge at you. Not this dog. This dog went from zero calm to 100 miles an hour of violence and teeth. And so he ended up biting her on the back of her leg, but I was able to grab the collar. I bought him a brand new collar. I also bought him a harness, bought him a bunch of other stuff. And so he did attack her in the den where we had him. And he was also let him stay outside. I didn't let him get around my other puppies. I got 3 small 12-pounders just for fear of, if anything happened, it'd be all over for one of my small dogs. So anyway, we tried another time. A couple days later, we tried having my wife come out of a different part of the house. We thought maybe he was guarding me or guarding the food and water in the den or territorial over that or some kind of protection type of mechanism. So I took him way out into the backyard where, again, you've seen me film some of my arm wrestling stuff. And maybe 10 yards from the back, a different back door, not quite 10 yards, maybe 20 feet, give or take. It was a distance. We just wanted to make sure that he wasn't aggressive towards her and that he was just guarding possibly or being territorial of that room. So I had him on the leash. I had my hand under the collar. And what I actually did was I got in front of him and turned my back towards my wife coming out the door. I saw some videos that if you turn your back towards what the dog perceives as a threat, that a lot of times they'll go along with you. They'll say, oh, well, my owner here is not really concerned about that person. He's got his back to that person. So probably nothing for me to worry about. But she came out and instantly he was triggered. There was no growling. There was no barking. There was no teeth showing. He just went from 0 to 100 miles an hour of violence. And I'm a pretty strong guy, as I've tried to show you guys. But this dog, we ended up getting him to the vet. He's 54 pounds. Man, he's strong. He's 54 pounds, but God, the guy is strong. So he really wanted to try to get her. And in the process of me containing him, he got so frustrated that he bit me really good on my right forearm. In fact, one of his, I don't know if it's his canines, but it went right and punctured a vein in my arm. So, I mean, I was bleeding. I was leaking all over the place pretty badly. And then the bruise that followed was huge because I guess I was still leaking on the inside. So it was pretty bad. I didn't go to the doctor for it. But because it didn't look like one of the mauling bites that you've seen. I mean, he didn't shake his head, but he just bit me really hard just for me to let go so he could go kill my wife. After that, we took him to the doctor just to get all his shots. I mean, I was still hopeful that we could maybe find a foster home for this dog or adopt him out. And he exhibited some more aggressive signs, and then he started getting aggressive when I got in the bed in the den. I guess he had been on the bed, and he kind of came up and nipped my knuckles. And we called a bunch of trainers, told them what was going on. Some of them didn't want to work with them, but we got with a couple of trainers that were honest. They said that they could train him to obey a whole bunch of commands. But they said the one thing they couldn't train out of him would be this type of aggression. They said this is the worst type of aggression that a dog could have. When a dog doesn't give you signs, he's going to open up a can of whoop ass. When a dog just goes right from calm to attack mode, they said that's the most aggressive dog because there's no warning signs. Long story short, in the end, with the advice of our vet and several trainers who said that there's not really there's no good solution here. We can't give him to another family because it's likely he could hurt or kill a child. It's likely he could hurt or kill even an adult female. And he could do significant damage to even the toughest guys out there. So you like Levon, this dog could hurt Levon. I'll just tell you that. He'd probably break his arm. if he wanted to. I mean, that's how strong he is. Anyway, long story short, last Monday, it was horrible. I even ended up crying. We had to put the dog to sleep. Believe me, I exhausted every other option, and there was only one slim chance of boarding and training, and then maybe about a year or so of behavioral training and home visits. But man, that's going to be around, everything was going to be close to $8,000-9,000. I don't have that. And also, there was no guarantee that he wouldn't kill one of our dogs. They said they could get the training down to where maybe he wouldn't be so aggressive towards people, but that if he ended up getting pushed by one of our 3 dogs, it's likely he would kill one of them. So last Monday was one of the worst days of my life. I really started to love this dog. I named him Luke. Had good videos and pictures with him. I just wanted to do something and change his life for the best. And it turns out we ended up having to end his life. The alternatives would have been bad. I mean, he could have gone to a home where maybe they would have had him dogfighting, or he could have gone to a place where they would have abused him for being the way he is. Or he could have killed somebody, or he would have bitten somebody severely. It's just sad. So the reason I'm telling you that is that took so much of my time, part of June, but really the last 2 weeks I was just constantly involved with him, taking him outside to use the bathroom several times a day, taking him to the vet, washing him. I mean, I spent a lot of time with this dog. I really became attached to this dog. And then constantly bending over, it just kind of wore me out, with this dog. So, and then I about killed myself fencing in the enclosure on the side of her house. I was using 6x6 I'd cut off the 12 part, but they were 6x6 by 8 posts, or not 9 feet posts. And, drilling and digging holes for that and putting up a fence. So I did a lot for this dog. It took a lot of my time, and I'm glad I did it. Luke deserved it. Luke deserved every chance that we gave him. We gave him every chance possible, but something had happened earlier in his life, possibly some abuse. We're not sure what it was. But the only good thing, I guess, is that he got to depart this world peacefully and no pain. Which for a lot of these pit bulls is not the case. A lot of times they will become owned by someone who's very abusive and treat them horribly. Or they'll end up fighting, which is a horrible way to die. Or in this case, he could have been run over. With the heat that we've been having, I joked about it at the beginning, but really we've had extreme heat. He could have suffered and died of thirst and heat stroke, run over by a car. I mean, there's just a number of horrible ways that could have gone bad for Luke for his final moments. But we gave him a very peaceful way to go. And I'm still feeling guilty about it, bad about it, racking my brain, still wondering. There had to be some alternative, but damn it, couldn't find an alternative. Anyway, that sucked up so much of my time, and then I wrecked myself trying to build this fence. My wrists, my arms, my knees, my back, that I'm now way behind on all my arm wrestling endeavors. And so, in fact, I can't even do any of the arm wrestling techniques. But I'll start back here about another week. But man, I really wrecked myself dealing with this dog and then putting up this fence. I mean, at one point it was 105 freaking degrees when I had my pulse hole diggers out there. I mean, try that, 105 degrees in the sun, and you're trying to dig down 3 feet of hole. And I mean, it was just, anyway. So anyway, it's just a whole thing that sucked up my time, my energy, and kind of broke me a little bit. So I'm kind of having to start backwards. I'm not probably as strong as my last couple of videos. That's just the way it goes. And then now I have something that happens in my business that I have to do because it would be stupid of me not to. I usually triple my income, pretty much at the least, just for this 1 month only, not the year income, but what I typically would make in a month, I'll triple it. Safe to say I would triple it only for this 1 month, so I have to do that. It would be stupid for me not to. So anyway, I'm making this long, detailed video for anybody who's subscribed to my channel or is watching what's going on, that I've been out of the loop. Now you know why. It's a week later after Luke, I took him to the vet. I actually was there with him the whole time. Petting him, telling him how much I loved him, and anyway, that's the Waco Kid, and I'll be coming back at you probably in about a month.